first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks. He weighed in at 141 pounds. He is undefeated with 6 victories, 3 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Originally from Sumter, South Carolina, now fighting out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Jared the Quiet Storm Robinson. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the multicolored trunks. He weighed in at 139 pounds. He's a 60-fight veteran with 7 knockouts, representing the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, John the Real Deep Trigg. Referee George Chip with final instruction.
Welcome back ringside. Vince Ferrara, Preston Halliburton for our 6th bout of the night. It's a 6-round lightweight bout between John the Real Dig Trigg, a 1936 and 5, a 60-fight veteran, weighing in at 139 pounds, taking on undefeated Jared the Quiet Storm Robinson at 6-0, weighing in at 141 pounds. Robinson is in the red trunks with the black gloves. Trigg is in those very colorful turquoise and silver trunks with the black gloves as well. What do you see early on here, Preston?
I see a typical John Trigg style. He likes to fill out his opponent, but I can promise you, early on in this fight, you'll see some blood. John's notorious for, he's what you call a free bleeder in the sport. He's a fun, exciting fighter. He likes to take his opponents into deep water and drown a young guy like the Quiet Storm. But unfortunately, he only has 6 rounds.
And both of these fighters are veterans. We've seen them earlier this year. We saw them here in the Georgia Boxing Championships. And John Trigg, boy, what a warrior this guy is in the ring. I mean, there's times where he has taken a beating but continues to pressure the opponent. And then Jared Robinson looks so slick when he saw him earlier in the year at in the Georgia Boxing Championships. It's
what you get with John Trigg. You get a guy who's a veteran. He's always going to be in top condition. He's going to come to fight. He's got a great chin. Some people have defense. John has a great chin. He takes it off the chin and keeps coming.
Boy, and you can't. He's a guy that you can't judge based on how his face. Oh, he took a strong shot and a left over the top. He's getting that beard tested here early on from Robinson, who had a nice flurry there on Trigg. But you can't judge Trigg based on how his face looks, because he could really get chopped up and look really bad, but still come at you and do some damage.
Oh, absolutely. You can't, different type fighters, a lot of your Irish type fighters with fair skin will look like they're getting beat.
That left stunned Trigg back into the corner. Now Robinson on the attack. We'll see if the veteran can get out of the corner. He does. That face is really red of John Trigg. Robinson's doing some work. Sticking that jab.
Wow. Being a young fighter like Robinson needs to be a little careful with a veteran, not to try to knock him out and over-exude himself and give out too early.
Robinson is working the jab, though. Sometimes you see that enough from your young boxers, and it looks like in this first round, Robinson has been active with it.
Jared's got an orthodox style as Robinson. He's working off the jab really well, as you pointed out earlier.
John Trigg, the Real Dig, in those silver and turquoise trunks, has taken some shots in this first round, but he keeps coming at you. And there's that jab again, sticking for Robinson.
Well, John is the Real Dig. He'll dig deep, and he'll do what he has to do to get a win.
They exchange, they wrap, they are broken up by referee George Chip. And we've reached the end of the first round. Would you give that first round to, Preston?
It's definitely, I feel like it was a convincing win. First round for Robinson. I mean, he was busy, he got off first, used his reach, got in and out, used his legs, threw combinations at times. He locked up when he needed to prevent the shorter man from being able to get off on the inside. I thought he won the round.
You see the Tecate girls in the ring. Tell you a little bit about Jared Robinson. Originally from Sumter, South Carolina, now based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, called the Quiet Storm, only 23 years of age. Had a very impressive win back at the Buckhead Theater in July in the Georgia Boxing Championships over another very good up-and-coming fighter in Dino Domanchik. Prior to that, in 2010, a win over Terry Cade. Also beat Melchior Guillen, James Powell, LaJavis Manning and Sean Piles. None of those guys with great records, but Dino DiManche probably the most impressive win of the four. That was a four-round unanimous decision. He has never been more than 4 rounds. It's a 6-round lightweight bout here tonight.
And Vince, you like to see young fighters like Jared working off a jab. I like his stance. He's very much up on his toes, so that he can react very quickly. He doesn't ever get on his heels. He's in the center of the ring. He moves, uses the jab, and gets in and out. I like seeing that in a young fighter.
Terrific combination. He's been able to duck some shots from Trigg.
Great jab by Robinson. Great jab.
Boy, a little feint with the jab that time and went over the top with a right. Looks better than, a guy with 6 fights.
Sure.
He looks more polished than that. Lost his balance there.
Looks very poised, very poised. He doesn't go for Johnson, an older fighter like Trigg. They like to use a lot of shoulder and head fakes, and the young Robinson is not biting on any of them, and he keeps his hands up.
And Trigg goes. Excuse me, Preston. Trigg goes down, but I think that's going to be ruled a trip. Yeah.
Sure. We've seen that a number of times in that area of the ring tonight.
Is John Trigg, does he want to try to get this into a brawl? Is that his, he's stunned back by that left from Robinson.
It's definitely his style. However, he's fighting a very powerful young bull. And the guy's actually looks like another weight class above him. He looks like a bigger man. It's surprising to me.
It's a great point, Preston. And John Trigg, 37 years old, originally from Athens, now based, of course, in Atlanta, has a lot of fans. You know him well. A lot of people here in the Atlanta boxing community know John Trigg well.
I definitely know John well, known him for years, and he's game for anyone, anytime. But they got to be in his weight class now. This guy looks pretty big. What's the weight?
2-pound difference for Jared Robinson at the weigh-in, 141 to 139.
Well, oftentimes you see a guy that they have a big upper body and very small legs, and Trigg has very big legs, so that's where a lot of his weight is. So
Trigg continues to move forward, but Jared Robinson's been able to duck Trigg's punches, and he ducks them, and Trigg is a shorter fighter, and then that jab sticks again for Robinson in the red trunks.
I think John's doing exactly what he needs to do. Throw a lot of feints, work his way in, and don't walk into any kind of powerful shots as he did in the first round.
Overhand right. I think Trigg might be bleeding some blood on the left shoulder of John Trigg. A little uppercut that time from Robinson, and he goes back upstairs. Boy, a three jab combination straight down the middle.
He's able to do that because he stays on his toes.
Wow. I think it's blood from
nice
the nose
right hand
from Trigg, and nice shot to the body.
I really like watching the poise of Robinson at a young stage in his career.
Wow.
Beautiful performance that round by Robinson.
That is very impressive. So Jared Robinson, the quiet storm, looks like he's up 2 rounds to none here through 2 rounds of this 6th-round lightweight bout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's up 2 rounds to none. John's fighting a good fight. He's doing what he can with a talented young fighter. He's doing John Trigg style. He's getting him in later rounds and trying to set something up. But Jared Robinson's not taking the bait. When he has Trigg stunned, he doesn't go and try to finish. He knows that that's the only way Trigg could beat him is if they got into a slug fight and got caught with something.
John Trigg, earlier this year, was in a great bout with Antonio Davis, a very entertaining bout. The fans in Atlanta thought that Trigg should have won that fight, which would have given him Davis's belt. That did not happen. Antonio Davis is 27-6. He retained his belt. But John Trigg has shown his worth through the years, 60 professional fights. And he takes an overhand right from Jared Robinson here early in this 3rd round.
I tell you, Jared Robinson is, you want taller fighters to stick and move, but the thing I like about Jared Robinson is he actually sticks first. He sticks that jab before he moves. If you don't stick it, then you're a shorter, powerful guy will walk you down. You stick it. Stop him in his tracks.
What an exchange. Trigg letting his hands go.
Great exchange. All right, that's the real estate where he wants to be, on the inside, taking advantage of it. John.
And look at Robinson respond, getting out of the corner, then goes on the attack. Trigg trying to punch back, but he's eating a couple shots from Robinson. And we've got a mouthpiece down. I think that's from Trigg.
I really like Robinson's corner admonishing their fighter to go down and up. Go to the body when you have a man hurt on the inside.
6 rounds, is that enough to do body work early and then get a payoff at the end?
Well, yeah, I mean, one shot to the body in the solar plexus can stop a man, but what it can do is set up your body to the head. Body first, then the head. You're going to bring the elbows down to protect yourself. Nice uppercut by Robinson.
Wow, wide array of punches. The versatility being shown here by Jared Robinson. At left, again comes back with the left.
You know, John is working so hard to get on the inside, but when he gets on the inside, he's not able to do any work. I mean, he's getting in the kitchen and he's not able to, you know, cook any grits and eggs. He's just in there.
and Jared's able to get out without running out. You know,
he's sticking.
Right.
Powerful shoulder jab. We talked about the different types of jab tonight. You see a very front-heavy Robinson. He puts a lot of weight on his front leg and uses his shoulder and throws 3 times through his target when he throws a jab. He's throwing it with what we call bad intentions.
I'm impressed at how he's able to duck the punches of the shorter fighters. Somehow he is ducking those punches, and it's putting him, just like there, in position to go on the offensive.
That's an excellent point. Oh, wow, great right hand by Robinson. You know, normally you don't see a taller man slip punches. He likes to catch them and back up with his legs, but he's slipping them because it gives him a chance to counter with power. Left hooks mainly.
Boy, the maturity and the versatility being shown here by the Quiet Storm, Jared Robinson in the red trunks against John Trigg in those silver and turquoise trunks, the veteran. I mean, we're talking 60 bouts for Trigg, only 6 professional for Jared Robinson.
And absolutely. I mean, as we spoke earlier, you know, records don't mean someone can't fight or can fight. There's a lot more to judge. I mean, I'm sure Robinson has a pretty savvy corner, and they knew what they were getting into tonight.
And Robinson again on the attack, responding, ducks, and then has offense for John Trigg in the final seconds of this 3rd round. Trigg tries to come at it, but Jared Robinson in control. Give him that 3rd round as well.
Great boxing performance. You know, he might have the remedy for Trigg's onslaught is don't just stick and move, but actually stick first, then move. Once you land a powerful jab on an opponent, it keeps him from just rushing in, and then you can move. If you don't do that, then he's just walking you down, and you're running all night, and he's got you in the corner. So I really like Robinson staying front leg heavy, powerful shoulder jabs. Now, if I'm John Trigg right now, when somebody's loading up that much on their jab, one, they're usually weak on the back end. Throw a counter left hook at the exact same time they throw a powerful jab. Oftentimes, a lead jab causes an individual to drop their right hand when they're lunging forward so hard. So a counter left hook would be a good punch, or a nice jab to Robinson's shoulder. When somebody's front leg heavy pushing you, you actually throw the jab into their heart. Push them back. Throw a heart punch.
We will look for that as 4th round is underway. 6th round lightweight bout between John Trigg and Jared Robinson. The Quiet Storm looking very impressive. Looks to be up 3 points on John Trigg as Trigg comes after Jared Robinson. And again, Robinson, without running, is able to switch things on Trigg. Oh, that jab sticks. Bounces the head back on Trigg.
But if you notice, Vince, Robinson's very heavy on his front leg. He leans forward. His stance is very forward. You've got to back the guy up.
Well,
right hand will do it.
Yeah, and he ate a left from Trigg. Now Trigg coming after him, but a response from Jared Robinson. Boy, you can see the face, the wear and the tear on Trigg. Boy, he has taken some shots from Robinson, clean shots as well.
But I can tell you, Vince, this is actually the kind of fight he likes. Unfortunately, you know, it's just what he does.
Oh, man, takes a combination there.
It's winning the John Trigg way.
I mean, he is – that beard, man, has been tested for John Trigg.
I can tell you, you know, you don't bring Windex in the ring with him, and there's no glass jaw, I promise you.
John Trigg tried to duck for the first. We haven't seen him do a whole lot of that. And he eats a jab coming in. Jared Robinson with that left hook. Trigg continue, man. He is just fearless, coming after you. Doesn't matter how much punishment he is taking.
Just tenacious. He tries to beat his opponent with sheer determination. And if a young man's not willing to keep up that pace, he can get beat.
And Trigg is taking some shots, but then Robinson comes back and delivers 2 more.
Nice right hand by Trigg and a left hook.
Miss on the overhand right from Jared Robinson, but Trigg has had a little bit better round here in this 4th round.
I tell you, the power jab is the story. When he uses that lunging forward with the jab.
The head knocked back by Trigg, and he stumbles back, and we'll see if Robinson can continue to work, but back comes Trigg again. Boy, just clean shots, snapping that head back from Robinson.
Trigg, you don't have to look for Trigg in the ring. He's going to be there.
Looping right from Robinson. Trigg coming after him, even when he eats shots from Robinson. Trigg now gets him in the
John
corner.
Wants to be right there.
Yep.
Nice veteran move by a young fighter.
Yep, gets out of that corner. Mouthpiece is out. Is that Trigg again?
Trigg landed a nice shot on Robinson. That was a great job by the referee not waiting until there's a natural break in the action.
And there it is, and the mouthpiece is out. I think that's Trigg's again. That would be the 2nd time that's happened. And come to think of it, that was something that happened in the Antonio Davis bout.
A number of times.
4 or 5 times, if I remember correctly.
Well,
Trigg eats some shots here late as Trigg tries to flurry in the final seconds of this 4th round. And then an exclamation point from Robinson at the bell.
I'm enjoying this. These are the kind of fights Atlanta needs. We can become a boxing city with these kind of fights by Sports Fans Property, Shea Bailey, Delgado Boxing. When these guys get together, it's a fight in a phone booth. Rockets Red Glare. It's fun to watch, Vince.
It has been, and even though it looks one-sided on the scorecards, 1, it doesn't mean it's not entertaining, and 2, when the guy that's losing is still delivering and standing there and taking punches, but still the aggressor and coming after you, that makes for entertainment.
That makes for a Rocky movie.
I'm Vince Ferrara along with Preston Halliburton. We're ringside for the big rock out, the closeout to the year of terrific bouts. Georgia Boxing Championships in Atlanta all this calendar year, and then closing it out on this big sports weekend in downtown Atlanta. We're at the Georgia World Congress Center at the Thomas Murphy Ballroom. It's our 5th bout of the night. 2 WBF titles still to come on the line tonight. And excuse me, it's our 6th bout of the night. Those 2 WBF title fights are on the way. But right now we've got a 6-round lightweight bout between John Trigg in those turquoise and silver trunks and the black gloves, taking on Jared Robinson, who unofficially on Preston Halliburton's scorecard has won the first 4 rounds.
Absolutely. But he's had to earn those 4 rounds. They haven't been easy.
And Trigg stumbles into the ropes, staggers into the ropes, I should say. Robinson going to work inside. That's supposed to be the wheelhouse for Trigg, but it's Robinson getting after him, but Trigg still delivering blows back. Boy, you mentioned it earlier. When they're inside and they're in that phone booth, as you said, that's Trigg territory, but Robinson has been very effective in that role as well.
Well, I've always believed that a taller man can back a shorter man up into the ropes as long as he's pushing the guy back. He can't be forced in. He has to dictate when he goes into the ropes. You dictate when you want to be inside and when you're not. When you're in range, you get off first. When you're out of range, you get off first. But don't ever be in between ranges.
And we have our 3rd, and there it is, a point taken off. The 3rd time that John Trigg's mouthpiece has come out, and referee George Chip has taken a point away from John Trigg.
Very veteran corner of Robinson. His corners admonish him to 1, 2, 3 and step around Trigg. Give him lateral movement. Instead of back straight up into the corner, step around him. Circle in the middle of the ring.
He's even been able to do that when they're in the corner, and he's backed him there.
He's been able to maneuver in a small area. But I tell you, when you see a man's mouthpiece coming out a lot, it doesn't mean they're tired or they're getting caught. John's been in a lot of wars. I don't think he can breathe out of his nose very well. He's a mouth breather,
right?
And he has to because he's had so many breaks.
It does get you a breather. Oh, he takes a left and then a right and then comes in and eats another shot from Robinson, another overhand right. And now goes to the body.
Robinson showing a lot of ring savvy and poise here.
He hadn't been, and you pointed this out earlier as they exchange blows there, he hadn't been reckless in trying to finish John.
He hasn't. I attribute that to good training and a good disposition from a young fighter. At some point, he had to learn that lesson. It's somewhere, and you want to learn those lessons in sparring and not in your seventh professional fight.
And there haven't been hard lessons in the ring in an actual professional bout, as Jared Robinson's unbeaten at 6-0 in the red trunks at the age of 23. Looks beyond his actual years in the ring, and Trigg coming after Robinson here. Oh, and Robinson staggers John Trigg in the middle of the ring, but Trigg is just an automatic. He just continues to come after you.
Well, if I'm in Robinson's corner, I'm saying stick and move. If I'm in Trigg's corner, do John Trigg.
And one last blow for Robinson once again.
I would like to see John Trigg feint more. When you got a guy giving his entire body throwing a jab, he's exposing himself somewhere. You can't be that front leg heavy. I'd like to see, when we used to fight the military fighters as a collegiate boxer, we developed a style. When they would run in, we would actually use our jab as a pole and aim at their heart and chest, and it would push them backwards, and it would almost knock the wind out of them. Or throw a nice right hand to their front hip. They're so heavy on that front hip, they'll think twice about putting that much pressure. You just throw a nice right hand to the top of the hip around the belt line.
It's Preston Halliburton. I'm Vince Ferrara here ringside at the Georgia World Congress Center, downtown Atlanta, Thomas Murphy Ballroom. Been very entertaining, one-sided, frankly, as we enter our sixth and final round here, and it looks like Jared Robinson is up big, about 6 points.
Looks very fresh, too.
Working both levels, the body and the head. John Trigg. Trigg coming after him. Well, Robinson eats a shot from Trigg, but then responds.
Sweat just pouring from both of them's head on each punch. It's exciting to watch.
And you've seen the oohs and ahs. This is a big Trigg crowd here, and we've seen a lot of oohs and ahs.
Jab. Power jabs. Yep. He's eating it for breakfast.
Oh. Hard right to the body by Jared Robinson, as you mentioned, just looks fresh as a daisy in there. And
this is the way you fight a guy that comes straight at you. You give him something every time. Don't just throw the flip jab. Don't just throw a point jab, but throw that jab with bad intentions.
Do you take anything from Jared Robinson in terms of his punching power, or is that just John Trigg? I mean, the guy is hard to put down.
Oh, absolutely. John Trigg's difficult to put down. If you knock John Trigg out, it's normally from a balance knockdown or from a glancing blow.
So you wouldn't take away and say, well, Jared Robinson's power maybe isn't up to snuff. You credit more Trigg just being able to take shots.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what he does. I credit the young Robinson for not overexposing himself. He's keeping his punches straight, nice and tight, hands up, straight right hands, not looping right hands.
Just the versatility, two hands, seen him come outside, inside. Just full display of boxing skills from Jared Robinson in the red trunks, the undefeated 23-year-old.
I don't like seeing him inside on the rope, so it's not where you want to be.
He was able to get away there. Trigg continues, hands up, coming after Jared Robinson, and then those jabs stick right in there on Trigg.
A lot of the young fighters could learn a lot from Robinson, working off that jab. Everything works on the jab. When you have a good stiff jab, that's what a stiff jab. This is the epitome of a stiff jab.
Came with an overhand right as he ducked. And boy, the upper body movement of Jared Robinson, his defense has been impressive too, hadn't it, Preston?
It's been impressive because he's able to keep John off balance. And when Trigg's throwing the off-balance shots, they're very predictable. It's like telegraphing it.
Staggers Trigg back, now has him up against the ropes, goes uppercut. Now backs off, again, not over-exerting himself. And then Trigg comes out of the ropes. Final seconds of the 6th and final round. See if Robinson can end strong in a round as he has each and every round here tonight. Robinson doesn't get a final punch in, but a great finish to this 6th and final round.
Cut his head off with a machete.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's get the announcement in the ring from Jose Santiago.
we have a unanimous decision. Judges Erwin Deutsch and Ed Cantor scored it 60 to 53. Judge Richard Sales scores it 59-54 for your winner. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Jared the Quiet Storm Robinson.